And I am going to go ahead and grab this. Okay, so somebody tell me, does anybody recognize the name of this shape that you see right here in front of you for Figure B? Do you know what that's called?
A square.
No, not a square. Carla?
A hexagon.
Not a hexagon. Yeah. It is called an irregular shape. So we're going to write that down. The prefix "ear" means not, and then we have the word regular. So not regular is what that really means. Because does this look like a regular rectangle or square? No, it does not. So when you have an irregular shape, it's like two shapes were put together and then they erased one of the lines that connected them to make one large open shape. Do you see that? So I kind of want to know what kind of thinkers we got in here. So if I were to cut this shape, how many of you see that if I cut it here, that's one shape, and this is another? How many of you see that? And then how many of you see it where, so some of you may see it where if I cut it here. How many of you see it where I cut here? This is one shape. Okay. And how many of you see it where I cut it into one long rectangle? Alright, I guess more hands are this way, so that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to go ahead and draw that imaginary line right here. And an imaginary line is a dotted line. And just like we were using on Figure A, we're going to continue using on Figure B the highlighter to help us, because we know parallel lines will help us find those missing measurements. So I am now going to pick green, and what I noticed is that I do not have this measurement here. And I need to find the measurement for that blank by finding the length of this line segment. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of put some little points here. So point from here to the other edge. Everybody say parallel lines.
Parallel lines.
Lines that never touch.
Lines that never touch.
So I'm on the search for some parallel lines. Lines that are parallel to the line we just highlighted in green, but are not touching. So I go across and I see this one right away. It is parallel. Do we know the measurement for that parallel line? And what is it? 15. So here's what I know. I know from this point here to this point, we have a distance of 15. That means if I were to go straight up right here, from this point to this point, I have a distance of 15 inches to be exact. Okay? But that's not the whole line. That's only part of the line. So where do you think I'm going to get the rest of the line? Peyton.
If you go down where it says 12 inches.
So if I go directly across, I'm going to go ahead and highlight that in green because it is also parallel. And that is 12 inches. So if this distance from the left corner to the right corner is 12 inches, then I know the other part up here is also 12 inches. Makes sense, right? Because basically that's like a rectangle. The top and the bottom should be equal in size. Now what do you think I'm going to need to do with those two pieces to find this missing part? Add them. So what is 15 plus 12? 27. And right now I'm going to do one more thing before I leave this, because we are going to go back and find the perimeter, and I feel like I should pause. And somebody tell me, when you find the perimeter of something, what are you doing? What is the perimeter? You're adding the edges. So I'm going to put perimeter equals length plus width plus width. And the reason why I'm writing that is because that's one formula you can use to find perimeter. And here's what I know. If I know this whole distance is 27, and I hope your eyes are looking at my pencil, and I know part of it's 15 and part of it's 12, isn't that 27 too? So how many times could we add 27? 2. You're right, Brandon. 2 times. Because that would take care of the entire length on the top and the 2 little length pieces over here on the side. I mean, below it. Because don't these add together to give me 27? All right. Let's choose a different color. I think I'll use orange this time. We're going to talk about our vertical lines. Here is what I'm noticing. I'm noticing that I do not have a length over here on the side. I'm missing that. So I'm going to quickly find some parallel lines. So I'm going to go across. And what I notice as I go across, all the way across, I've got this long piece over here. And what is this long piece worth?
15 inches.
It's worth 15 inches. Do I need all of it for this one? No. I mean, clearly it's smaller. We just have to figure out how much, right? So I would say this is the total. If we know the whole distance is 15, do we know part of the distance? No, we don't? Look carefully. Do you see any other lines that are parallel to the orange that we have not highlighted? Yes.
Inches.
Oh, 9 inches. This line is also parallel, and we know part of it is 9. So if we know the whole distance is 15, and we know part of it is 9, what could be this missing part? 6. Whew. Now we've got all the measurements. So a faster way of finding a perimeter, I hope we agree, 15 plus 15, because what is 9 plus 6 going to give you anyway? 15. So if you find your longest side and double it, 15 plus 15, then we can find the perimeter fast. We could even be a little more efficient and say this, 27 times 2. Anybody happen to know what that is?
54.
Yes. 54. Plus,
30.
what is 15
30.
times 2? 30. And what would we do with those 2 measurements
Add them.
to find
Add
the
them.
entire thing? Add them. That would give me a total of 84. And the important thing to remember is that it's inches. It's not square inches. It's not cubic inches, which we'll talk about those later. But it's just plain inches. Because really what happens when you find perimeter is like you take a string and you're outlining the whole thing. And when you take that string and you unwind it around your shape, it's just a linear length from here to here. And that's why we only use the linear length of inches. When we start talking about inches squared or squared inches, well, that means you have a length and a width. When we talk about cubic inches, that's when you have a length, a width, and a height. That's the new piece for this year. Okay? Yeah.
So did we do 9 subtract or 15 subtract 9?
That is exactly what we did. We took our longest length, the total. We subtracted the part that we knew, 9, and we were able to get this unknown part, which was 6, and that's how we found it. I'm so sorry I wasn't very explaining that very well. Are there any questions at this point? How do you feel about all of that? Pretty good? So let's talk about what I am going to expect you to do in the next 10 minutes, and then I'm going to grade it. Because I'm going to grade on, hey, you're good, you got a green dot, you're kind of halfway there, or red, you are drinking coffee. You have no clue what is going on, but you do get to use a partner for this. Yeah. You're going to get a paper that looks like this, and I'm going to need you to put your name on it because I am going to take this back from you because I want to grade it. And on this paper, there's 5 things I'm going to want you to do. How many things? 5. The first thing I'm going to want you to do is I'm going to want you to tell me what is this missing measurement. The second thing I'm going to want you to do is tell me what this missing measurement is. Do you have enough pieces to maybe find that out? You and your partners at your table group can figure that out. I would use my highlighter. Right? Okay? So those are the 2 things. Step number 3. You should be able to find the perimeter of this whole thing once your missing sides are found. Everybody say we can do it. Okay? Here's what I would do. I'd have everybody find their own perimeter and then see if you agree. Because if Elliot gets a number and Julius gets a number and Kaden gets a number and they're all the same, what does that probably tell you? They're the same. But if somebody gets a different one, you might want to check your math, right? Part 4. Here's a missing side. You've got some pieces of information here that should help you figure that out. And then part 5, right here. What questions can I answer for you?
We're not doing area.
No. Have I talked about area today? No.
So
I want to save area for the next week.
don't
Don't
do area.
do area today. We're going to take one step at a time. Let me see what the next, I think you're going to have more time than the other class. So, oh yeah, let's see. Let's see what you can do here. Let's, oh, you know what? Here's what I want to do. Just do those 5 for now. And then we'll take them back as another step, okay? So, I'm going to give you 10 minutes to get the first page done.
Can
Okay?
we do more?
You could, but then we're going to come and check it. Okay? All right. So, how many problems do you have to have done in 10 minutes? 5. Let's review. Missing piece. The perimeter. Number 2, missing piece and a perimeter. 5 things in the next 10 minutes. Got it? All right, go to your seats. You can use your table groups. Lucas, you can move with these guys if you want, so you're not by yourself.